I'm like, oh, really? Who's the CEO of the company? And she told me, Mr. Mark Zuckerberg. I was a lucky contestant that had won $1 million. I was trying to do this not even for me, but for my son. He wanted me to be his mistress or his second wife. He's got a great body. I have to give him that. For the first time in his life, he knows what true love is and what it means to actually be in love. She purposely got pregnant for the third child so she could hold on to him.
What's up, Seekers? Welcome back to another episode of Scamfish, sponsored by socialcatfish.com.
I provided personal information of mine and my son's. My mission is to get my son back. He won't talk to me. He won't see me. My son's eyes. I chose Mark over my son.
On today's episode, we speak to a woman named Carrie who thinks she's in an online relationship with one of the richest men in the world, the Mark Zuckerberg. This online affair has ruined her relationship with her son. Join us as we help her find answers and reveal to her the truth about who she's really communicating with online. Real quick, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Your comment and like could help stop someone from being scammed. Let's get into it.
Hello, my name is Carrie. I enjoy shooting pool, going bowling. I love to drive and be on an open road. And I'm looking forward to getting my CDL license now. My husband was very complex, very entertaining. We met when I was 15 and he was 23. He loved to cook. He was also a professional clown, loved music. He unfortunately passed away November 28th of 21. I've been trying to find myself and who I am because I've never really known who I, Carrie, have been, is supposed to be.
Carrie's husband's passing left her in a tight spot financially. She was lonely and left to raise her son alone. One night while she was scrolling through Facebook is when it all began.
I was not online dating. I was not looking for a relationship. I had gotten a message. Her name was Virginia. She claims that I was a lucky contestant that had won $1 million. And I'm like, yeah, this ain't real. Facebook doesn't do online giveaways. She eventually told me that the CEO of the company wanted to talk to me. I'm like, oh, really? Who's the CEO of the company? And she told me, Mr. Mark Zuckerberg. My knowledge of what Mark net worth is somewhere around $700 billion. He's one of the richest men in the world. He also is not just the CEO of Facebook. He's also has a joint business with Priscilla. He is very compassionate and sincere. He's got a great body. I have to give him that. He's got a great body. Him and I would talk for a little while. Then he asked me how I would use this money, and I told him I would get a trust fund for my son. I would buy a small little house, maybe go on a vacation, and donate some to a cancer foundation. I was trying to do this not even for me, but for my son, to have him have some kind of financial security. I didn't tell anybody about this. I didn't want to be ridiculed and shut down for talking with somebody, let alone potentially Mark.
Carrie had originally began to send money to Mark so she could claim her $1 million and a 2023 Camaro he said she had won through a Facebook raffle.
The money and the car were in this kind of container, but in order to get it released, there had to be payment to release that. What's $50 compared to $1 million? You know, even though I was struggling and I didn't have much at that time, I started trusting him. I provided personal information of mine and my son's, and even the address to where I was living at.
Carrie sent the front and back of both her ID and her son's ID. Mark claimed he needed this so he could process the money to her account. She would also share her bank account information along with $500 for the winner's fee. She is still waiting to hear back from Virginia on when she will receive all of her prizes. While she waited, Mark would open up about his relationship with his wife.
Mark and Priscilla met at Harvard. They got married one day before Facebook was ready to launch. He felt that she purposely got pregnant for the third child so she could hold on to him. They don't see each other that much because he works a lot and so doesn't she, taking care of the kids. He would say that he had meetings. He was spending time with the baby. We would ask each other how our days were, what had happened in the day. As time went on, things got a little more complex. I think it was around the third week of him and I talking is when he told me that he was in love with me. He wanted me to be his mistress or his second wife. He thought he was in love with Priscilla, but he had said to me that he wants to be with me. For the first time in his life, he knows what true love is and what it means to actually be in love. He's talked about eventually opening a Facebook company here on the East Coast, which myself and him, we will work side by side together at the company. He has found a couple houses that he would love to purchase here in Massachusetts for him and I. And he feels that my son is not just mine, but ours, you know, and he's looking forward to being a stepdad to him, teaching him and giving him a job at Facebook.
This Mark Zuckerberg profile would eventually tell Wanda that he was ready to completely end his marriage. This is when things started to spiral out of control.
He told Priscilla that he was not happy anymore. He wasn't in love with her anymore. She put a freeze on his accounts until this divorce is finalized. And I even looked into, the laws in California, and the law states that a spouse can freeze the other person's account until a divorce is finalized. Another time that he asked me for money was so he could eat, or he needed to do an upgrade of software on his device, because since he doesn't have access to the money, as Priscilla had closed the account, the first person that he had as a lawyer took the money and hasn't been seen since. So he had to get another lawyer.
Carrie has essentially been funding Mark Zuckerberg's life. She sent money for his divorce lawyer, food, Wi-Fi. The list goes on and on, totaling to $24,000. Yet she still holds on to this relationship being true.
The real reason why I think that I am talking to the real Mark, I have seen private credentials of him, such as Meta key card, his driver's license. He is planning on coming here on October 2nd or 3rd.
Mark never showed up on the 3rd. This is when Carrie knew something wasn't right. She waited all day for him, but he told her that his divorce was still ongoing and he needed more money for his lawyer. All she wants is for all of this to be real so she can claim the prize Mark originally promised her and prove to her son that all of it is true.
The most valuable thing to me is losing my son. And that is my mission, is to get my son back. He won't talk to me. He won't see me. He won't respond to my text messages. But I've always made sure he's got food on the table, clothes on his back, some kind of roof over his head. In my son's eyes, I chose Mark over my son, which is not what I was doing. Not at all. Zach, if you're watching this, I hope you have gotten the text messages that I have sent you. No matter how much I may have lost, the biggest thing I've lost was you. Please forgive Mom, and let me back in.
We waited weeks and never received any information from Carrie. After several emails, text messages, and even phone calls, we finally got a hold of her. I pulled her in for a call so I can pull as much information as I could. Our goal was to come with facts and to show the guest on our show why this person is not real. This is the only way that we were going to get her to come to terms.
Today we were supposed to go over your in-depth, but I don't have an in-depth to go over with you. Going through these chats, we can at least pull some of the information, and then from here we can try to give you some answers. But what exactly is the reason for you not being able to send anything to us over the past 3 weeks?
I haven't gotten any emails out from you guys outside of the release.
Does he have access to those emails?
I would assume so.
So call them and reset the password. Unable to do it. Honey, where did you go? My love, honey. Why is Mark Zuckerberg asking you what your credit limit is on your TJ Maxx credit card?
He was actually joking around about that because I told him that there is no cash advance, and so he was actually joking with me on that.
Carrie, he's hitting you with one-liners. He's hitting you with 3 words every single time. I don't see any depth to this conversation at all. It's literally, I'm reading, writing, done, no ma'am. Look at how much time and effort you're putting into each message, and look at the amount of words and effort he's putting into his messages. Do you see that?
There's more to it than that, Drew.
Okay. All right. Well, let's keep scrolling through this.
Our team got straight to work. We took the next few hours and started to research everything.
If you've made it this far, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, guys. We appreciate you so much.
We then set up another call with Carrie to go over what we had found.
I just want to tell you something. We're here to help you out. We have, I think Drew told you this earlier, but we have no incentive. You're not paying us to do this. We have no incentive to tell you the person you're talking to is real or they're not real. We just want to bring the truth to you, right? And so as you've given us this stuff, you've done it last minute, but I want to tell you, we found everything and we have a lot of information to share with you. So one thing that's extremely concerning is that this guy has access to all your accounts, right?
Yeah.
So he's logging into your bank account, he's logging into your Facebook, your email, everything.
Yeah.
Why would you give him access to all this stuff, just out of curiosity?
Maybe I'm too trusting. Maybe I'm naive. But when I love somebody, I trust.
And as of right now, you truly believe you're talking to the real Mark Zuckerberg?
Yeah, I do. Because there's certain things that we have shared. He has shared videos with me of, in the moment videos that were not out on social media until a couple of days or a month or so later.
That brings us to the first bit of information that we looked up. So the photo that you received of him with the bruises on his face, can you tell me what he said when he sent that to you?
He first said, "Don't worry about it, he's okay, LOL." And Then he told me that it was makeup. So I wouldn't worry.
So Mark Zuckerberg, he's a fitness guy. He works out with a lot of famous UFC fighters like Adesanya, you name it, like the biggest guys in the UFC world. One of the things that concerned you was that you received that photo of him a day before it was released on his Instagram. Well, we went back and we were able to do a reverse image search and find that that was actually posted on his Twitter a day prior to when he sent it to you. Using an Instagram to reference why you're talking to Mark Zuckerberg isn't probably a clear reason of why this person could be true, right?
Yeah, I guess. There was also, a picture of the youngest kid in Priscilla in the hospital before that went public.
Why would he only send you pictures that are posted on social media and they're posted a day or 2 days before he sends them to you? You see where we're getting at here?
Yeah.
Like many other romance scam victims, it was tough for Carrie to accept the fact that she was wrong. She wanted to prove to her son that this truly was Mark. Her pride was in the way, but we had even more to show her. Why exactly does Mark Zuckerberg, a guy that's literally one of the richest guys in the world, why exactly does he need money from you specifically?
He told me he decided to leave Priscilla. When he told Priscilla that he had found somebody else and that he was in love with somebody else, he didn't take it well. California law states, and I've looked this up, a spouse can freeze assets during a separation and a divorce.
So they can freeze assets to keep you from selling your house and transferring funds from one bank account to another, but they can't keep you from making money and surviving. That would just never happen in a court of law. I'm just letting you know.
I mean, I know a little bit of Massachusetts law. I'm not familiar with our law.
He told you that you were the only one that could help him?
He told me I was the only one that could help him. He told me that he needed first the money for the first lawyer he had.
We followed the Bitcoin wallets, right? And there was money going into those crypto wallets, but there was also, just the other day, there was $20,000, right? There were $20,000 in other transactions going through those wallets. So this person's telling you they need $400, which is gonna change their life somehow, one of the richest people in the world. And then the money that we found going into those crypto wallets that you are sending, somebody else, collectively, other people have sent $20,000 to the same person that owns these crypto wallets. So he was getting, $400 from you, and then he was getting another $20,000 from somebody else days ago, like literally days ago, like a week ago. But one of the big things we found, there was a handwritten letter to you from this person that you were talking to.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so there are a few weird things from that. So we were able to find Mark Zuckerberg's real handwriting and match them side by side. They're not even close, Carrie. Like, not even close. The R's, the A's, the N's, the spacing between, there's so many differences between these two, the handwriting. It's not the same person, 100%.
Yeah.
And so as we're going through this information, what's going on through your mind? Are things starting to click for you? Do you still have doubt?
I don't even know. I don't even know. I lost my son. I lost my friend of almost 30 years. I feel betrayed. I feel used. I feel stupid, pathetic.
You're not stupid. You know you had a good incentive on why you were talking to Mark, right? It was to help your son. But you just need to be educated on why it's so dangerous to send your personal information and your son's personal information to somebody that you've never met. It was all starting to hit Carrie. This had to be stopped, and we knew our last two pieces of information was the nail in the coffin.
Carrie, we know where this person is. As you gave us access to your Facebook account, we were able to go in and look at logins. And we had asked you 2 questions. We said, hey, what phone are you using? Because we saw another phone in there. So there was an iPhone XS in there, which we looked it up, and it's a little bit older phone. And so what we were able to do is find an IP address in Facebook. Drew dropped it in, and we were able to find out the IP address was in Nigeria, Carrie. The person you're talking to is in Nigeria right now. Just to be certain, we looked up Mark Zuckerberg's phone. You got one of the richest people in the world. They're not going to be using a 3 or 4-year-old iPhone. And B, we have pictures of him even using an Android phone.
We've pulled a bunch of photos of Mark. So the first one was, from about a month ago. This photo, this is when he announced his newborn maybe 4 or 5 months ago. And then the last one is 2 weeks ago. It's him and his wife. They're talking about their new AI system and how it's gonna help healthcare. They're together. They're not divorced. They're not getting a divorce. There's nothing out there on the internet that talks about them, having a problem in their marriage. This guy is happily married.
If you guys were to reach out to Mark, if this was not him, ideally, I would like to meet him. And I'm not asking him to lie. But if my son could see Mark and I together,
That's not gonna happen, Carrie. Carrie, come on. Like, that's not gonna, like, I just...
not even in a romantic...
It doesn't matter. Like, this person's ripped you apart. Like, the wrong thing to do is, like, go to your son and act like there's this real story going on. The right thing to do is to come clean and be like, look, you're my son. I love you. I fucked up. And I want to make things right in our relationship. That's the right thing to do, Carrie. Mark Zuckerberg doesn't matter. He's not even part of this. He's not, the only part of this that he is somebody uses images to scam you. Here's what I think we should do. And you tell me if this is the right or wrong way. I think you should film a video and you should tell your son how you feel. We will reach out to your son and say, hey, look, we've investigated this. We're helping Carrie through this mess. And the only thing that she cares about in life is making amends with you. And here's a message. And at very minimum, if you could respond. You can respond to us or you can respond to her. And you don't have to rekindle things with her, but if you could at least respond and see if we can get a response out of it.
I'm going to try.
If you want this relationship back with your son, you have to let this go. It's not real. It's 100% not real. And I want to help you repair your credit. I want to help you move on. I want to help you try to patch up your relationship with your son. But it starts with you. It starts with you. It's your decision. You have to, in your heart, believe that this is fake. It's not real. You can go off and you can go back and you can live this fantasy with this fake Mark, or you can quit it all today. You can block him and you can repair your life. The decision is yours.
I don't even know how or where to begin.
The two haven't spoken since she came in contact with the fake Mark Zuckerberg. We're gonna try to get this video over to your son. What would you like to tell him?
Hey, kiddo. I don't say this easily. I never have. But I was wrong. I was wrong. You and your aunt and Kim, you were all right. The person I thought was Mark, the real Mark, is not. And I'm having a hard time talking down everything that I have done, lost, but most importantly, losing you. I need you, Zach. I need to make this right. I need to make amends with you. You of all people are the only one I got. My biggest regret, my mistake, was not listening to you. I was wrong. please let me back in. Please let me try and make this right with you. And I'm willing to try. And I'm not gonna talk to him no more. On Grandpa and on Dad. I'm done. You, like I said, you and your aunt, you're all right. I love you so much, baby boy.